What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And it's probably the calmest of live streams that you're going to see from me for a while, because after tomorrow, whatever happens tomorrow night, I'm either going to be mad hyped and believing that we can win it, or it's going to be game, set, and match, game over, and the meltdown begins, and you book your summer holidays, people. So, listen, hope you're all well today. You know, it's the calm before the storm of this week. Tomorrow is genuinely, I mean, it's all or nothing. You know, we did a documentary, didn't we? All or Nothing on Amazon, and I think tomorrow is all or nothing. Lukey said, can I do your new logo? Feel free, make one, hit me up, bro, hit me up. I'm all ears. And it's live, people, and it's live. Listen, tomorrow's game, I mean, I wish the game was tonight, to be honest. I just can't wait to see the game. I'm nervous on one hand because, you know, if we look at the way things are going at the moment, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see who is favourites going into that game. But at the same time, it's that hope, it's that faith, it's that optimism as a fan that just tells you somehow we can do it. They're not unbeatable, you know. Even Rocky beat Ivan Drago in Russia. Anything's possible. Adrian! We need one of them, people. We need one of them tomorrow, I'm telling you. We have to find something from within that Man City don't have. We've got to draw on it. That history, that connection, you know, that long-lasting success that Arsenal have. We need to draw for it somehow. If they don't, then it is what it is, people. One thing's for sure, and one thing that I believe is that, and I don't like to single out anybody, because Arsenal's form is not simply down to Rob Holding or anyone in particular. But Rob Holding, for me, should not be playing that game tomorrow. I'm sorry to call him out. But I think Mikel has to do something different. We're going to talk about the team later on in the show. I've finally figured out the team that I would pick. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to show you later on, and I'm going to also explain why I've picked the team that I'm going to pick. Now, I listened to the press conference in the car, actually. It was 9:30 this morning. And it's one of the longest press conferences I think Mikel Arteta has done since he's been at the club. It is pure waffle on top of waffle. But luckily on the website, they've cut it down. So, you know, it'll only be a light lunch, people. Because if they'd have put all of it on there, we'd have been here all day. Listen, big up to everyone tuned in. Let me not waffle on for too long. Let's talk about tomorrow's game. Let's look at the press conference, bit of transfer news, pick our team, and see what we would go with. Let's get into a couple of your comments. John said, no Holding, no Fabio, different formation. Anthony Scott said, facts, Arteta has to try Zinni at right back with Tierney at left back, White next to Gabriel. Romeo said, blessed, good morning, Curtis. Liking up from the British Virgin Islands. I think Arsenal can pull it off tomorrow. Let's hope so. Big up Lewis, who said, Liverpool, you'll never walk alone. Listen, Liverpool were the last team to overcome that Manchester City monster. We got to take some sort of, you know, help from the way you did it. So, yeah, we got to draw for it, you know. Big up Cypress Hill. Love your channel, Big C. Keep up the good work. Hope one day you're bigger than AFTV. Listen, you know, like I always say, people, I'm not in competition with anyone. You know, we can all eat out here. The cake is big enough, but you know, we just wanna keep it the way we do it and get as big as we can. That's it. But big up to the community, of course. And big up the guys at AFTV. Ish said masterclass needed by Arteta. And Zinni at right back with no right foot is not a good idea. And Fave said, Curtis, we are 3-point collecting tomorrow. Let's hope so, people. Let's hope so. C-Unit business. C-Unit business. Arteta Fan TV, as they call them. Big up, Rob. And John said, we need to be like Beres Hammond. What are we going to... What are we gonna do if you know? Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about, John. Big up, John. The Nielsen settings. Arteta, it's time to earn your wage. Spot on. Right. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. Curtis has more fans than Man City. Well, that's not hard to be fair, is it? But big up the community each and every time. let's get the little bit of transfer news out the way, because this is just the side dish of today's show. Focusing on that game tomorrow is what this show is all about today. Let's be totally honest. This is the biggest game in a long time for this football club, you know. Big games to get in the top 4 are not as big as this. This is humongous. Eros always asks me this, you know, Bob Marley or Beres Hammond. That's nearly a timeout for that question. I mean, I respect Beres, but come on, Bob's the best ever. But anyway, let's move on. Arsenal are being linked today, people, with somebody they were being linked with last summer. That is Wolverhampton Wanderers right winger Pedro Neto, people. Pedro Neto. We tried to sign him last summer. They were asking for crazy money. I think they wanted upwards of £50 million for him. 23 years of age. Apparently, Arsenal were his favourite club growing up. There was pictures of him wearing Arsenal shirts when he was a kid. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean much. Lewandowski loved Arsenal. We never signed him. But Neto's had a very, very quiet season. I mean, it's beyond quiet. It's like a whisper. 14 games this season for Wolves in the Premier League. 11 of them starts. No goals and no assists. I mean, we could have done better than that. And, you know, we're not going to play in the Premier League, people. Last season, he only played a handful of games after his injury. He got 1 goal and 1 assist. So in the last 2 seasons, 1 goal and 1 assist. I mean, again, I refer to it all the time, people. You know, it's like going into TK Maxx, going on the sale rail. You've got a big night out and you buy a designer shirt, even though it's 2 sizes too small for you or too big. It ain't going to fit. It ain't going to work. He's a decent player. 2 years ago when we was finishing 8th, I was on this. I would have done this deal. Now, I get it. As a backup, he's an improvement on where we are. We don't have a better backup than Neto on the bench. He's young. They will still feel like they can get something out of him. But we're top of the league. We're going to finish 1st or 2nd. The shops have opened, right? It's like walking down Oxford Circus and the doors are locked because they know you haven't got enough money. In the summer, they're all going to open the doors. You can go in Harrods without the security guard following you around. You can go in Selfridges. You can go wherever you want. You're top 2 in the Prem. You might be champions. You don't need to go bargain hunting this summer. It's not that time. When we finished 8th, give me Neto. When we finish 5th, give me Neto. If we're finishing 1st or 2nd, I don't want Neto. Aim higher. Let Neto go and play for Brighton or someone. Surely we can aim higher than that. Now, where I will add the balance to this, though. I mean, Nimbo said I'd rather add Zaha. I mean, when he's saying that, I might as well end the stream. Because Nimbo, you know, and Zaha, you know, we've had a lot of conversations about that. The thing that worries me about Arsenal and Arsenal's mentality. Big up Broads in the chat. Big up my bro. He said, give me Leao. Come on, bro. Listen, get Leao to the carpet. Although he is a left winger. But anyway, the thing with Arsenal and what concerns me about Arsenal is any right winger that comes to Arsenal. And this is what we have to bear in mind. They're going to give Xhaka a 5-year contract, 200 grand a week. He's the main man. He's the poster boy. He's the star boy. He's the man that they build their team around. They hardly ever take him off the pitch. Now, if you're a top quality right winger, are you prepared to go to Arsenal knowing that Xhaka is the star boy of that football club? So if you go for a top quality right winger who's still probably not going to play ahead of Xhaka, they're potentially going to say, well, am I playing? Well, we can't guarantee it because we've got Xhaka and we've just given him 200 grand a week. Okay, well, I'm not joining. That could be the problem when Arsenal go to negotiate for a right winger. So Arsenal's mentality might be, let's get a backup that is better than Reece Nelson that can maybe challenge Xhaka but isn't quite going to push him out of the team. That wouldn't be my mentality. That's not what I'd be trying to do. I'd be trying to get someone that's as good as Xhaka, if not even better, where the competition is crazy. But I just think that Arsenal's mentality will be... We saw it 18 months ago. When they signed Sambi Lokonga, what did Edu say? We didn't want to sign a midfielder that went ahead of Xhaka and Partey. We wanted somebody that could develop behind those guys and become a better player. I think Arsenal will look to do something similar with the right winger. It's not what I would do. I think go for somebody big and be ambitious and go for the best you can. But there aren't that many quality right wingers out there. There's way more left wingers. And there aren't many that would come to Arsenal to potentially be a backup dancer to Saka. That's the problem. And that Edu statement sums it all up. It's true, and that's the way we move. So don't be surprised if a brother like Neto comes to Arsenal. It's believed now Wolves would be willing to take around 30 to 35 million. They wanted 50 last year, but with no goals and no assists. I mean, let's be real, people. We've been as good as Neto in the Prem this year. I've got no goals and no assists. You've all got no goals and no assists. So in theory, we've all been as good as Pedro Neto this season. So 30 to 35, I mean, I don't know. For me, if you create a list for me of right wingers, then he would be pretty low down the list. Some of the names you're mentioning in the comments, Moussa Diaby, who I think we could get. I honestly don't really know how good Moussa Diaby is. I'm not going to cap. I've seen him play a few times. I couldn't give you a definitive report on how good he is. He's rapid and I'm a pace merchant. That's 50% of the way with me, but I can't tell you much more on Diaby. Raphinha is another one, and we're going to speak about him briefly today as well. Yeah, and we all got Neto's bank balance. Well, yeah, we might not have the bank balance, that is for sure. But anyway, Neto for me would be... let's get a poll up. Let's throw a poll up. Would you take Pedro Neto for £30 million this summer? 23 years of age. Apparently nearly joined Arsenal. Another one on the list. He nearly signed for Arsenal, people, with the other 500 players that we've missed out on over the years. Would you take Neto for £30 million this summer? Lower wage than some of the players we're being linked with, and a lower price for 30 million. Me personally, it would be a no, but I can understand him being on the list as a bargain if you can't get one of the main ones. So there you go. First poll of the day. Would you take Pedro Neto? 23. Would you take him? First poll of the day, people. Let's talk about a couple of other players that were being linked with. Chukwueze is interesting. He's being linked with a move to Real Madrid at the moment, actually. If Asensio leaves. Say no to Neto, says Broads. I'm with you. It doesn't hype me up one bit. You know, if you're going to get to that top level, surely it should be reflective of the kind of players that we're going for. You know, what's Neto ain't gonna bring excitement to Arsenal fans. I don't think Neto takes us to the next level either. So yeah, if we were to get him, I'd be disappointed. I'm sorry. I want to see. I want to see big names this summer. I'm sorry. I'm clutching at big names this summer, and I need excitement. I know people say Arsenal don't buy the big names. We'll change that narrative. Go and buy big names now. I'm sick of it. Let's stop penny pinching. Title challengers making 30 million bids. Bring back Pepe. Oh, man. Neto is like Fabio Vieira. So, anyway, I'll leave that poll up. Let me know in the comments. Big up Fitz with the super chat. With Arteta's total and utter lack of tactical nous, I just can't see us avoiding a beating. It's plan A or nothing with him. He's no George Graham. And as you'll know, if you're a regular in the comments, people, when Fitz turns up at your house, he kicks off the door, shotgun in hand, and just lets the clip off. There's no, we don't knock and wait for you to answer. There's no ring doorbell, and you're talking through the microphone. The door gets BAM! Licks off the door. You don't know what's going off. You think you're getting raided by the police. But big up Fitz. He says it as it is, that's for sure, people. Big up Fitz, man. Connor said, get that Mudryk for 10 million. I heard he's a talent, says Connor. Well, it'd be interesting. Poch at Chelsea next year. He is good with young players, usually. Alberto said we need Champions League quality players. You're going in Champions League next year. You're going to be playing Madrid's, PSG's, Bayern Munich's, Neto doesn't take you to the next level, I'm afraid. But as I said, if they're looking for a backup dancer, somebody cheap and cheerful like Neto might tick a box for them. Let's move on to another right winger. I'm going to get through these transfer rumours quickly because I want to really just concentrate on tomorrow's game. Another right winger that we're being linked with, and one that we've been linked with over and over and over again, is Raphinha. There are rumblings that Raphinha could be sold this summer, with Barcelona searching for solutions on how to meet financial guidelines. Arsenal and Newcastle are monitoring developments but are well aware of Barcelona's plight, and there are no guarantees they will recoup their desired price. That's from Simon Jones in the Mail, who isn't a bad source. Now, I don't know if anybody's seen the stories coming out of Barcelona. Barcelona need to make around 200 million this summer in order to even break even. They want to sign Messi. They're saying up to 5 players will have to be sold this summer. Raphinha could be one of them. And they're saying now they paid 65 million. It's believed he will have to be sold for around 50 million, even though they wanted their money back. So I'm going to end the first poll. Pedro Neto at 35 to 30 million. Would you take him? 75% of you said no. 25% of you said yes. The second poll, Raphinha for £50 million this summer. Would you take him? Yes or no? I've got to be honest. I'm just not. I've never been fully convinced by this guy. I don't know why. He's silky. He's not bad, but I just don't see it with him. I just don't think he's that good. His game style's a little bit similar to Mahrez, but I call him the C-Tech Mahrez. I don't think he's that good. I honestly don't. Michael said, I heard Raphinha is very petulant. I would pass on him. Well, he was kicking up noise in the press when he wasn't starting. And Barcelona probably looking at it going, well, you just come from Leeds United, bro. Relax yourself. Don't come to Barcelona and make noise. This deal's got red flags all over it from me. I'll tell you why. It's been at Barcelona for 1 year. And obviously, yeah, they're trying to get Messi back. So they're going to have to get rid of a winger and raise some cash. They've got Ferran Torres. They've got Ansu Fati. They've got Ousmane Dembele. And they've got Raphinha. And this is the guy that they want to sell over the other 3. And he's only been there a year. And they paid 65 million for him. That is red flags for me. Surely you would have expected Ferran Torres or maybe Ansu Fati to get sold. I know they love Ousmane Dembele. So for me, I'm not trying to influence the poll, by the way, but I wouldn't go for Raphinha. I don't really. I've heard the same things about him moaning about not playing, and I think he's a hype merchant. I think he was a good player at Leeds. I don't think he's answered the questions at Barca, and I wouldn't pay £50 million for him. I don't think he's that good. I think he's techie. He's got a good touch, decent left foot. Didn't do anything for Brazil in the World Cup. Didn't do anything for Barcelona against Man United when they got knocked out. He did score, actually, in the first game, but his performances were bang average, and I don't rate him. I don't rate him. And if he's moaning at Barcelona on the bench, he's going to kick up a whole heap of noise sitting on our bench when Saka's playing ahead of him. So I wouldn't go anywhere near him, to be honest. But hey, I'm not trying to influence anyone. That's just my opinion. We need to sign Leroy Sané and Ivan Toney, says Danny. Listen, I would love to sign both of them too. Harvey Barnes from Leicester, good player, could get him cheap. Probably better on the left. That's the only thing. I think they're looking to get that right winger. Gunnar Vettels says, though, I would love Raphinha, quality backup for Saka. Raphinha, says Michael. I like that one. Raphinha needs to be the main man, and at Arsenal he would be second choice, says Kevin. Screams Edu, 100% screams Edu. We know most of his phone book are Portuguese speaking. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Sané is in the bad books. Well, yeah, if he said what he said to Mane, keep him far away from Arsenal. So yeah, 100%, bro. Snake Eye said, I don't like Raphinha, no end product. Plus, he was rude to us when he was making his move to Barcelona. No. Yeah, exactly, man. Bun him, man. Leave him. Let Barcelona sell him, man. Go and play for some bang average club. We don't want him. But listen, some of you will take him. Reece Nelson's the backup. Raphinha is better than Reece Nelson. So let me not cap. Some people would take him. And if he joins us, we'll shamelessly dress it up in a positive manner. Let me end the second poll of the day. 70% of you say no to Raphinha. 30% say yes. So listen, but that's a deal that wouldn't surprise me again. It's just got Edu written all over it. Absolutely written all over it. Broad said, I would pin Scarretty's comment. What's he said? Would you take Jared Bowen? Well, we know that Broad's been trying to sell us Jared Bowen for years. Jared Bowen, again, for me, that's a deal you sign when we finish 7th or 8th or 5th. We're finishing top or 2nd this year. Why are we shopping it? I mean, not for me. I think he's an all right player, Jared Bowen, but aim higher, bro. Aim higher, man. We can eat steak. Why are we buying cheeseburgers? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at, people. That's where I'm at. You know, when you live good, you live good, and we can live good this summer. So let's go and enjoy ourselves, man. We don't need to get a cheeseburger off the saver menu at McDonald's. Let's go and get some, you know, some proper. Let's go and get a golden steak in Dubai and live good, people. So he's not a bad player. Yeah, for squad depth, he's all right. But West Ham aren't going to sell him to you for 20, 30 million. They're going to ask for crazy money for him because he's an England international and he's mid-20s. They'll probably want 60 million for him. So for the money they would want for him, I wouldn't buy him. He's not a bad player, but you ain't getting him on the cheap because he's got a couple of years left on his deal and he's English. So, but not a bad player. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get another bit of transfer news before we move on. And then we will focus on what could be a dream or what could be a massacre tomorrow, people. Now, a player, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. One of these players we spoke about yesterday, one of them, this has come up. Now, this is coming from Pletty Goal, who is a good reporter when it comes to Bayern Munich in Germany. He's the Sky correspondent in Germany. We heard yesterday a rumour linking Arsenal with Sadio Mane. I think that was made up. Bayern Munich are confirming that they will sell Sadio Mane this summer if they receive an offer that is deemed suitable. Apparently, a number of players have fallen out with him over what's happened with Leroy Sané. They also believe that he's been pretty average this season for Bayern Munich. Now, forget Sadio Mane. I don't think that's going to happen. 275 grand a week, 31 years of age. I don't think that's going to happen. But the second part of this story, this is what I'm talking about, people. Serge Gnabry is also on the list of players likely to leave Bayern Munich this summer. Now, this is interesting. Now, reading the whole story, it was believed that Leroy Sané was going to be the winger that was going to be sold this summer. But Sané has been their best winger this season. You saw it against Manchester City the other week. He was their better winger out of the performing wingers and Coman and them, man. So it's believed now they're going to try and offer Sané a new contract. And Serge Gnabry could be sold this summer. They're furious at what's happening at Bayern Munich. There's also reports that Thomas Tuchel could be sacked if they don't win the title. They dropped points at the weekend. Dortmund are now top of the league. There's even rumours that Gnabry has put on a little bit too much weight. And they're not happy with his condition. Whether that's muscle or whether he's been, living that good life and he's put a bit of weight on. Listen, I'll take a chubby Gnabry at Arsenal. We'll get him in shape and we'll sort him out. Serge Gnabry back to the carpet. Let me finish off with one more poll when it comes to the wingers. Would you bring, and apparently £50 million, would you bring Gnabry home to the carpet for 50 mil? Now me, this is where you're speaking my language. Bring him home. Right winger, right-footed, offers something different to Saka, being a right-footed right winger. You can play him in the 10 role. He's quick. He cares about the club. 100% I'm taking him. Now, listen, let me not cap. This guy is not in form. You're not signing an in-form Serge Gnabry. You're signing a winger that they're saying's a bit overweight at the moment. It ain't. He's got 9 goals and 4 assists in 29 games. Not bad. He got 14 goals last year. And at the World Cup, 3 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 27 years of age. For me, it is an absolute no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I'm all over it. Now, don't get me wrong. The one sticking point, there was always going to be a problem here somewhere, people. £240,000 a week wages. That is the issue. That's the sticking point. Now, you're going to have to at least match that, in my opinion, to get him through the door. So you're not getting him on the cheap. But if you're going into the Champions League, you got to pay Champions League wages to players as well. 50 million for Serge Gnabry at 27. Former Arsenal player. I'm taking him all day long. I'm taking him all day long. I'm on that he's one of our own settings. I still think he's a quality player. I think he's suffered from the fact that he's sat on the bench a lot this season and his form has dipped. They've gone for Kingsley Coman and Leroy Sané a lot of the time this season. So I would take him. I would take him. He loves the club. Right footer. Something different. Although Martin, listen, let me get your opinions. Don't just go off what I'm saying. Martin said Gnabry's finished at club and international level. Fair enough. Broad said Arteta is good with wingers. He is. It's the strikers where I'm sort of questioning him. Ivan said Elise has a 40 million release clause. A lot of people were saying Elise in the comments as well. I'm still holding that penalty he gave away against Man City against him. Gnabry being overweight is a red flag. It is. It is. Maybe he's at the red flag. Who knows, people? Who knows, Sadiq? You don't want a cast-off from Barca, but you want a cast-off from Bayern. I'll tell you the difference, though, Raul, is that we've seen Gnabry perform for Bayern Munich. Last year, we was all saying, get Gnabry in the summer. He signed a new deal. We couldn't get him. He's having an average season. With Raphinha, he's had 1 year at Barca. He hasn't set the world on fire, and they're binning him after 1 season. That is a bigger red flag than Gnabry's one. So Gnabry's having a poor season. They've got loads of options: Sané, Mane, Coman, and they're probably going to move him on. I don't think it's as much of a problem as Raphinha. I also think Raphinha has got a chip on his shoulder as well. Costa said Kula. He said Arsenal was his dream move. Would you? I think there is a clause that he can actually turn down the permanent move to Tottenham if they didn't get Champions League. But he's been average this season, Kulusevski. I haven't really rated him this year. I know he's a boiled gooner, and it would be great to just spike Tottenham. That would be the good thing. Melvin said, I sent you this idea on IG. Have not replied. I was wondering if you could make a keep, sell or loan with the Arsenal squad. Also get Robbie on 100%. I'll get Rob on soon. Maybe next week we'll try and get him on. And the loan, sell or keep, definitely going to do that one, people. Bleck, thank you for the super sticker, bro. Anyway, let's move on from this one and let's end the poll. 81% of you saying bring him home. Oh, in fact, it's just dropped to 78%. 78% of you saying bring Gnabry home. 23% say leave him. Kulusevski is class. It's Nando's that are ruining him. Class is permanent, says Jay. Gnabry scores hat-tricks in the Champions League knockout games. Come on. Remember what he did to Tottenham? He's performed before, man. He's a baller. He's a baller. One bad season. And nowadays, people write you off as a player. I know he's a big game. I know he's a big game player. I know he's a big name as well. And he's a former Arsenal player. But you don't become a bad player overnight. You know, he got 3 goals in the Champions League last year. 2019-20 was his best season. He got 9 goals in 10 Champions League games. And 12 in the league and 10 assists. That was an unbelievable season. So when Raul was saying, you know, about comparing him and Raphinha, you've never seen Raphinha put up those numbers, which is why I'm saying you can't compare the two. You know, Gnabry is that good when he's in form. He will genuinely challenge Xhaka for that right wing spot. That's how good he is when he's in form, in my opinion. Bleck said Edu is scouting Portuguese-speaking players, Big C. It's all he seems to have in the phone book, bro. That's all he has. Gunnar Roller said, I was desperate for these guys last summer, but Mane, Sané and Gnabry is a big no. We're eating steak now. Add that 50 million to whatever Ivan Toney's price is. Listen, Gunnar Roller, if we got Gnabry and Ivan Toney this summer, mate, I'll be having parties on here celebrating. This is Edu we're talking about, you know. I know psychologically you want to aim even higher. We're not in a position to turn down players like Gnabry and Leroy Sané. Sané's going to stay, though, by the looks of it. Mane I wouldn't go for. He's 31, and I think he might have down tools a little bit. I would bite your hand off for Gnabry. Fraser said, good luck tomorrow, Curtis. May the best team win. I respect that. I like the fact when fans of other clubs can come in the chat. And, you know, I always try and be respectful, although I will banter at times. But listen, may the best team win. It is what it is, you know. And, yeah, it's going to be painful for one of us, that's for sure. But listen, City are a beast, and you have to applaud them. You know, they're on for the treble, potentially. So let's hope we can stop them, but time will tell. But anyway, let's move on from the wingers. Enough talk about the wingers. One more story, actually. One more transfer story that I had there. I forgot about that. An actual Man City fan. Yeah, we found one, people. We found one. Yeah, there is. Somebody just said, yeah, Reece James is set to be out for the rest of the season. And obviously, we play them a week today, actually. So he definitely won't be playing against Arsenal. So let's hope whoever plays at right back or right wing back for them. I don't even know who their backup right wing back is or right winger. But you'd be hoping that Martinelli can cook him anyway. And obviously, if we've got a decent result against City, then that could be important looking ahead to that Chelsea game. One more bit of info in terms of transfers. A friend of the show, Ben Jacobs, of course, who always comes on here and lets off the clip on Fabrizio. He's done a report last night saying that Arsenal are very much in for Declan Rice more than they are in for Moises Caicedo. Wow, that is interesting there. I've just seen here Tottenham players have offered a refund to the Tottenham fans for their ticket for the game against Newcastle the other day. Wow, it's all going off over there. But yeah, Arsenal see Declan Rice as a more suitable alternative to Moises Caicedo. They feel that the deal is much easier to negotiate and get done than Moises Caicedo, which is typical Arsenal. And I'm not having a go at Arsenal here, right? Because I genuinely wouldn't mind either one of them. I do like Caicedo, but if we get Declan Rice out, I've already sort of convinced myself that we're getting Declan Rice, and I don't think we're getting Caicedo. They love his temperament, and they feel that I think he's already given them a lot of encouragement that the deal's going to happen. He's got a year left. West Ham have accepted the fact that he's going to leave, and it's easy to negotiate. Where Caicedo signed a new 4-year contract, there's going to be a lot of negotiation needed to get that deal done. So, are they signing the better player, or are they going to sign the player that's easier to negotiate the transfer? I suppose time will tell. I just hope that this is not Caicedo is the N'Golo Kante and Declan Rice is the Granit Xhaka. I hope it's not that deal part 2 again, because there's kind of similarities in how they play. But anyway, let's see. It looks like Rice is on his way to Arsenal this summer. I think he's a good player. It'll be interesting how much he costs. Caicedo is probably better, but Rice is more physical, and we need that. If we're serious about League and Champions League, we'll sign both. Cody Mystified said Caicedo all day. No, they are signing the easier deal, said Snake Eyes. I thought they're our football friends. Well, maybe they don't want to upset them and sign anyone off them. Anyway, let's move on. It's lunchtime, people. It is waffle settings. Cone Man music in full effect. The Cone Man is back, people. Cone Man music in full effect tomorrow at 2 p.m. This channel will either be like Ibiza in the summertime, we're going to be partying, or it's going to go beyond therapy. It's going to go beyond rehab. We will be having a meeting to discuss the end of our season if it's gone wrong. I really hope that we win and we're celebrating tomorrow. As I said, this is the last day of me being calm. The good thing about tomorrow, one way or another, sorry, not tomorrow, on Thursday after the game, but one way or another, we will have clarity. We will know it's over or we're going right to the end. It's an intervention. They're going to kick the door off and they're going to grab us and put us in handcuffs and take this pain away from us on Thursday at 2 o'clock. We must. We don't want to. We must. Let's hear what the Cone Man had to say, people. Mikel Arteta. I mean, the smile's got a lot smaller over the past few weeks. It's just a wry smile now, you know. The teeth aren't out. I mean, he's got Prime on there. What's that? Blue raspberry? Should he have really got the light blue on there? Man City, I don't know. Maybe we're going to drink Man City fans' tears. I don't know. Maybe he's sending messages there by getting that one on there. But anyway, let's hear what the Cone Man had to say. No disrespect, by the way, when I call him the Cone Man. You know, it's a little running joke. Although I might be calling him much worse if we lose tomorrow. On William Saliba's injury, there's been no improvement. We knew he wasn't playing anyway. So let's not even get into it. We spoke about it yesterday. It's another week that's gone by. He hasn't been able to train with the team. I don't think he'll play the rest of the season. Let's just stop talking about Saliba, to be honest. Swole said, I've got the syrup. If you've got the waffle, people, there's always waffle here. One word for Arteta's waffling: fear. Let's hope not, people. I'm potentially preparing for the rest of the season without William Saliba. At the moment, we don't have him. We are preparing for the game without him. I don't think he'll play the rest of the season. On Xhaka's availability, Granit has been out. Hopefully he will be able to train today, but he's still a doubt. If he's able to train today, Granit Xhaka plays tomorrow. Let's make no mistake about that. He's had a cold for a few days. Thursday, I meant, people. You know what I meant. Game tomorrow, and then we'll obviously the review on Thursday. If Xhaka's been out for 2 or 3 days, and he's back training today, surely he's available to play against City. I don't see any problem with that. On picking apart the mistakes from Southampton, he said human errors. Players make a lot of brilliant decisions and they make mistakes. Let's skip that waffle. On looking at the errors we've made recently, we made some errors, but we've managed to win the games. Those errors then probably get a little resolved, but we've had some that we have managed to do that. But yes, especially in certain areas, you have to minimise. Let's skip it. On analysing the errors further, I don't think that's about it. It's decision-making. I'm skipping. We've got no time for this waffle today. He's answering without even saying anything, really. On if we can still win the title, he said 100%. But we knew from the beginning City was the team to beat with Liverpool. Because of what those teams have done in the last 6 or 7 years, they fully deserve that credit. We were the ones that wanted to close the gap. We are toe-to-toe with them. We knew we had to go to the Etihad. We know after that they are going to have another 5 very difficult games. The game is going to be really important if it's going to define the season. The answer is no, which obviously he has to say that, because the reality is we could win and not win the title. We could lose and win the title. Both scenarios, you know, make it more likely. If you win, you're more likely to win it. If you lose, you're less likely. A draw probably keeps it in similar circumstances. On whether belief, confidence or mentality are key ingredients, he said a lot. It plays a huge part. When I look at how they train, how they reacted after Southampton, the mood in the dressing room, the way they defended each other. Well, they should have defended each other a little bit better on the pitch as Theo Walcott was slotting it into the bottom corner. That's what they should have done. But anyway, it's interesting, Sin, he's saying his ESR fit. I mean, they never ask him about ESR in any press conference. It's like he no longer exists. You know, they don't ask him. The brother's been on the bench for about 6 weeks. But, you know, is he a banned word in the press conference? I don't understand it. Why do they not talk about ESR not coming on? On whether it's his second biggest... On whether it's therefore it's his second biggest game. He says very big. Let's say it's a very big game. It's the only one we play tomorrow. On drowning out the noise of the title being in Man City's hands. We've been doing that for the last 9 or 10 months. Focus on what we can do. Don't get dragged out, whether it's positive or negative, and be stable and in our thoughts and in the process. Let me skip it. I'm relying on the experience of Jesus and Zinchenko. I mean, their experience did not really benefit us against Southampton. I'd say they were two of our worst players in that game. So it didn't work the other day. Let me just read these two super chats. E. Ross said, this conference is pure cap. It is. That's why I'm just skipping it, bro. Samuel said, Arsenal is like Mick Foley and tomorrow Man City will toss up from the top of the cell. Undertaker settings. Oh, man. I hope not, bro. We need to... Nah, we got to find a way. We got to find a way. There got to be a stone cold stunner in there somewhere. Kick De Bruyne in the stomach. Drop a stunner on him, you know. But we'll see. I think experience is key when you've been in these moments to handle the moments. The capacity to transmit. You know what? I'm going to be honest, people. I don't know if you can tell. I just don't feel in the mood to read his waffle today. It's boring today. It really is. On when he last spoke to Pep Guardiola, he said, exact date, probably the last time we played. On whether Guardiola has been in touch with him this week, he says no. The thing is now, even if he still speaks to Pep, he's not going to want to make that public. You know, because people will be going, well, why are you talking to the manager that you're in a title race with? So even if he does still speak to Pep, he's probably not going to let us know whether he does. So, yeah, it's a pretty pointless question. Problem is playing holding probably will kick Haaland in the stomach. Lock it off. E-Ross, I'm nearly at the lock it off point. I am. It's dragging. On how to deal with Haaland, obviously we've worked on their threat as well. We've worked on their weaknesses. The issue with City is they start with the goalkeeper. They're a threat with the ball, even with the ball with him. You have to control every single player. Let's skip it. On whether the game against City is winner takes all, he said, I don't think so. If we win tomorrow night, we haven't won the league. Interesting, he didn't say if we lose tomorrow night, we've lost the league. On whether the winner would be the overwhelming favourite, he said it will shift a little bit, probably in the percentage, but 5 games in this league still both have a lot to play for. How we will overcome the nerves, he said it's about key moments in the game. Let's skip it. How he is involving Jesus and Zinchenko, he said it's a very natural way. More skip. On whether it would be exceptional for us to win the title from where we were at the beginning of the season. He said, yeah, but the biggest game is the next one. And the biggest game of my career was the game we played against Southampton. Because if we won that game, we would have been in a better position. Then it will be City and blah, blah, blah. On whether he would have preferred to face City months ago, he said, we can't change it. Most pointless question I've ever heard in my life, by the way. On whether this game is an opportunity for the players to thrive, he said, yeah, it's a tough night, but a challenge. More skip. Whether we have to focus more on beating City's game or playing our own, he said, focus on yourselves. Scoring against City in their first title-winning season, you have to be dangerous. Whether he can predict what City will do, well, he's not Mystic Meg, is he? On some of the mistakes, you know what? I'm ending it. Does he say anything? On whether he'll try something completely new ahead of City, he said, we will see tomorrow. I've got to end it. I can't read much more of that. End the stream, Cruz. Cruz, come back from school and end it. There's not a lot more. There's not a lot more that I can read there. That's giving me a headache. Let's leave it. Mikel, due to my 3 years at university, me being 45 grand in debt and spending 5 years of work experience to get this job at Sky Sports, the question that I'm going to ask you today in this press conference, can you predict what Pep Guardiola is going to do on Wednesday? No, I can't. Okay, I'll go then, shall I? I'll start the engine and drive home. Like, come on, man. Just ask him a decent question. Ask him about Rob Holding and whether he should start at centre-back. Or ask him why ESR hasn't played for weeks, despite being fit and wearing the number 10 shirt. But they won't. Let's move on from it. I don't want to bore you and pain you anymore for any of that. It's horrendous. Let's pick our team. This is what matters, not the team that Mikel Arteta's going to pick. We know the team that Mikel Arteta's going to pick. It's obvious. He's going to pick Rob Holding at centre-back. He loves him. He said in last week's press conference he was a top-quality player. There's nothing more to say about it. He'll start. I've got my team prepared, people. I've got my team prepared. I'm going to tell you why, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments. What team are you going with tomorrow? Are you changing formation? How would you set us up? Now, this is a here's one I made earlier. I'm gonna write it and show it you so you don't have to go through me writing it. But I'm gonna explain why I've picked this team and my reasoning behind it, and then I want you guys in the comments to let me know whether you agree and what you would do tomorrow. I've seen some of you saying go to 3 at the back. Give us more solidarity. We won the FA Cup playing 3 at the back. Some of you saying, you know, change who we play at right back, change who we play at centre back. I want you to let me know who you would go for. And I've even seen some of you saying drop Gabriel Jesus. I've seen a lot of you actually saying we were better with Trossard and Martinelli and Xhaka. So this is my team. I'm going to reveal it to you, people. Right, we're ready. We're ready. Let me show you my team that I have gone for, people. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. This is what I'm going for. This is what I would pick tomorrow against Manchester City at the Etihad, people. And I want your input. I want to know what you would change and where you would go with it. I'm going to give you my explanation of why, right? I would stick to 4 at the back because I think to change your formation against Man City when we haven't played it all season is very risky. It could work. You could go Tierney, Gabriel, Ben White. It could be a masterclass, right? But I just think to change formation for a one-off game when we haven't played it all season is too much of a risk, in my opinion. I would play Tierney at right back. I saw something on Tierney, right? Tierney, in 2017, played every game that year for Scotland at right back. Robertson was playing left back. Tierney played at right back. 5 games in a row for Scotland at right back. They didn't lose a game with him at right back. Now, some people will say, Tierney at right back, he's left-footed, he doesn't have a great right foot. We've got a problem in defence. It's as simple as that. Manchester City's biggest threat, in my opinion, is Haaland. So I think you've got to be stronger at centre-back and put Ben White next to Gabriel. He's a £50 million central defender. So I would play him at centre-back. Tierney is left-footed. Grealish loves to cut inside on his right foot, which would usually be the right-back's weaker side, the left side. However, Tierney is left-footed. So he will be turning into Tierney's stronger side, which will be his left side. So that, for me, is what I would go for. I think stick to the way we play, keep that 4 at the back, and try and beat them with our attack. That's what I would go for. Now, I can see in the comments, there are some of you saying no. This doesn't sound good at all, said Alberto. Give me your alternatives. I want to see alternatives. That's what I would go for. You've got to play Xhaka and Partey. The reason I've gone Jesus over Trossard, because I was tempted to change it, but the reason I'm not is 2 reasons. Number 1 is Jesus is going to be so fired up for this game, right? It's his former club. They sold him. I just think he's going to have that extra fight in him being against his old club. Now, he had a terrible game the other day, but he has scored 4 goals in his last 5 games, right? So I do think that, you know, he is still in decent form. Also, you've got to understand, Man City are going to be the dominant team in this game. They're going to have more of the ball, which means we're going to have to hit Man City on the break. Which means when we get out of our own half and we attack, we need somebody that can hold the ball up. And I think Jesus is better at holding the ball up than Trossard. Trossard is not a natural striker, and I think his hold-up play is better than Trossard's. So that is the reason I would just about go with Jesus. Surely we signed Jesus to get us over the finish line in games like this. But listen, I want to read your suggestions in the comments. A lot of you not agreeing with me. Some of you are, but let me know what you think. I want to know who you would play and where and why and all those sorts of things. Pink said Partey at right back, Ben White centre back, Tierney left back, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Odegaard midfield. Come on, Pink. Zinchenko, Jorginho and Odegaard in midfield. I just can't get my head around that. And you want to play Partey at right back. Listen, I know Partey played at right back a few times for Atletico, but then our midfield stinks. It's lightweight midfield. I just couldn't. That would be insane to me. Someone said I was drinking last night. Where's that comment gone? I think that's a pretty solid team. I got to be honest. I'll give you my reasons. Tierney's played there for Scotland. I don't think Zinchenko has played there. We need Trossard. He's our best finisher. So are you playing him ahead of Jesus? Or that I'm assuming that's what... Anyone who's saying Trossard, I'm assuming that's what you're doing. You would play him ahead of Gnabry. Drop Zinni and play Jesus and Trossard. But how do we fit them in? I need the explanation. Where do you play him? Jesus plays in midfield. There's no hitting them on the break. Cahier, he was dropping very deep in the last few games. He was doing that Lacazette thing. Charlie said, I love how brutal and honest this community is. No sugarcoating around here. Have to deal with facts as we see them. Listen, man. Legendary community this is. Trossard for Xhaka. Boy, man. Trossard for Xhaka. That's too attacking. I don't think you can do that. You're then leaving Partey by himself as a 6 against De Bruyne and Bernardo when they get in the pockets. I don't think you can get away with that. I'd love to see it, but not in this game for me. I think that's wild. But I respect your opinion. I get where you're going with it. Anthony Scott said, play 3-4-3, Rambo, then Ben White, Gabriel, Tierney, Saka right wing back, Zinni left wing back, Partey, Xhaka, Trossard, Martinelli and Jesus. So I'm trying to figure that out. So we're playing with no 10. Oh, so you've dropped Odegaard. And do you know what? I'm not mad with that team, but you've dropped Saka as well, though. Nah. I'm not playing Trossard right wing ahead of Saka. I'm with you on a lot of that team, you know, but not Trossard right wing. Trossard's a good player. He's not a better right winger than Saka. He's a better left winger or striker. I can get my head around Odegaard not playing because this is the kind of game where Odegaard actually goes missing a lot of the time. Saka played well against Southampton. If Arsenal are going to win the league, Saka... Oh, Saka's at right wing back. I've gone mad, yeah. He's behind Trossard. That's not a bad team, Anthony, you know. That's not a bad team. I actually forgot Saka was there. That's not a bad team. I mean, that is not bad. Zinni would have a lot of work to do left wing back, but you've got Tierney left centre back. I actually don't mind that team, Anthony, you know. I don't mind that team at all. I've got time for that. We won the FA Cup playing free at the back. Robert said, how about Jorginho instead of Xhaka to protect our defence, hold the ball better? He's going to go for Granit, innit? He loves him. And he clearly doesn't trust Jorginho. He hasn't brought him out. He hasn't brought him off the bench at Liverpool. There's been plenty of games he hasn't used him. So I don't think he trusts him. Black said Zinchenko versus Mahrez. The rest, I agree with Big C. Fair enough. I get it. On one side, we're going to be weak. If you play Tierney, okay, you could play Tierney at left back and put Zinni at right back if you think. But I've seen Mahrez cause all sorts of problems to Tierney before as well. So, unfortunately, they've got Mahrez, Grealish, and Haaland. It's going to be hard to stop all of them, but we do our best. Can we trust Partey? It depends if Grandad Partey turns up or the General Partey. Hopefully it's the General. One thing's for sure, people, is when we get the chance to hit this Man City team on the break, we're going to have to damage them. One thing's for sure, though, as well. Let me just make this abundantly clear. We all know that this is the team he's going to turn up with tomorrow. He ain't throwing no curveball. He ain't changing formation. He's turning up and playing this tomorrow, in my opinion. I would put money on it with anybody in the community. Arteta will pick that team tomorrow, in my opinion. I think Holding will start. He'll play Ben White at right back. I would be shocked. The only way he doesn't start that team is if maybe Granit Xhaka's still not 100% fit. I think he will pick the same team and he'll back the players because he's backed Rob Holding from day one. You know me, and I know most of you in the comments. Holding, no chance. There's no way on earth I'm playing Rob Holding against Haaland. I'm not. But I think he's going to play that. I think he'll pick that team tomorrow. If he picks that team, it scares me. It scares me, I'm being honest. For me, he's got to find a way to change that back four and do something different. Ben White's a £50 million centre-back, and we've got a weak centre-back pairing at the moment. Gabriel's babysitting. So, listen, if I turned on the screen tomorrow and Fabio was starting, I'd turn the stream off, and properly I would leave the stream, because you wouldn't want to see me streaming that with him playing. He can't play. He can't come on. He don't even need to be there. Give him the week off. I agree with Steve. I think you've got to push Ben White into centre-back for this game. You have to. You could even play Tierney centre-back. He's played there for Scotland, but then can you have two left-footed centre-backs? I don't know. Gunnar Roller said Trossard in place of Odegaard. Thoughts? I'm going to be honest. I'm not totally against that. I'm not. Because he works hard. He can shoot. I do like Odegaard, but these are the kind of games where Odegaard tends to go missing. Anfield, Etihad, Old Trafford. They're games where notably he struggled. But he's going to start. He's the captain. Arteta loves him, but they've got to perform. They've got to perform tomorrow, people. That is for sure. Whatever team he picks, they're going to have to turn up and do something, because we're up against a beast and they need to be stopped in their tracks. Now, what's interesting is he's just done his press conference, Pep Guardiola. So I was just trying to see if he said anything about Nathan Ake, because somebody sent me a picture yesterday, and Nathan Ake apparently was in training yesterday with Man City, which nothing seems to be going against Man City at the moment. That's the thing. Yeah, Man City training yesterday. Nathan Ake was on the training ground and he was kicking a football around. Pep apparently never confirmed today in the press conference whether he was available or not. So I suppose it's a waiting game. One thing's for sure, you've got to expose Aymeric Laporte if he's at left back tomorrow. He's not a natural left back. He's not very quick. And I think he's somebody that we need to target. There aren't many weaknesses in that Manchester City team. We know that. But one thing about them is they attack, they push their fullbacks high, and they can be hit on the counter-attack. They was by Brentford, they was by Everton, they was by Man United at Old Trafford. So we still have to try and cling to any little bit of hope that we've got that we can hurt them. They are not unbeatable. They have lost games this season. They've drawn games this season. Let's look at how we can hurt them as well. A said, would you not take a point now? I said this yesterday. I said, if you said to me right now, we call the game off, don't play it, and we call it a draw, would you take it? I said, I'd call the game off, lock it off, no live stream, give me the point. I'll see you at the Emirates next week against Chelsea, because I'll take the point. I want the win. I'm desperate for the win. But a draw is not terrible for us tomorrow. I got to be honest. It's not terrible. It keeps us there. It keeps us there. A defeat, I think, when we're done and dusted. A draw, it keeps it going. They've got Fulham away this weekend. Like I was saying yesterday, in 2 weeks, they've got Madrid. Then they play Everton away. Then they play Madrid again. Then they play Chelsea. Then they play Brighton away. Then they play Brentford away. That is their difficult period. They're having a quite easy period at the moment. Don't get me wrong, they made Bayern Munich look like light work. But they'd won that tie in the first game. So the second game meant nothing, really. They were done. Then they had Leicester, easy. Then they've had Sheffield United, easy. They're going to have their harder run at the end of the season. Brentford and Brighton and Fulham away are tricky games, especially Brighton and Brentford. And obviously they play Arsenal and obviously Real Madrid twice. That's where it will get tricky for them. We have to stay right next to them until those last few games of the season. So I would take a draw, but we've got to go to Manchester and try and get the 3 points, people. Yeah, I would take a point. A said play a back five and pray for a 0-0. Again, if he played a back five, I'd be pleasantly surprised. I would applaud it if I saw Tierney, Gabriel and Ben White as a back three. It's a big risk, but if it worked, it would be genius. 3-1 to Arsenal said road to success. I mean, I'm about to round up now, people. we'll finish by looking at the Premier League table, as we always do. I look at this table as much as I can while we're at the top of it. With what you know at the moment, ahead of tomorrow's game, give me your honest score prediction. And I mean honest. Not in your emotions. Remove who you support. Who do you think wins that game tomorrow? And what do you think the score is going to be? I'm going to be honest, right? I don't cap. My heart says we can go there and beat them 2-1. My head says we'll get beat 3-1. If I'm being totally honest. My heart is just pure emotion. So that is nothing but emotion saying that I think we'll beat them 2-1. If I think properly and make an honest prediction, I think City will beat us 3-1 because I think Rob Holding's going to start. And I think the lack of balance in our defence, I think they'll pick us off. But I hope I'm completely and utterly wrong. And I hope what my heart thinks is true. I'm saying, my heart says, can we nick a 2-1 victory? But unfortunately, I think City will be too strong for us. Even what they've got on the bench, you know, is where it just becomes ruthless. Because, you know, if you keep Mahrez quiet, you're going to get Phil Foden for the last 30 minutes. If by chance you manage to keep Haaland quiet, you're going to get the World Cup winning striker Alvarez off the bench. You know, they can bring on Gundogan or whoever they start. Their strength in depth is outrageous. And it's the last 3 games. You know, if we'd drawn with Liverpool, beaten West Ham, beaten Southampton, I'd be acting like Fitz, saying kick the door off and bring in the shotgun. But what I've seen in the last 3 games just concerns me. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. We will find out, like Hype's saying, we will find out tomorrow whether this team is really about that life or whether you've had a good season and now you've run out of steam at the vital period. This is the vital period of the Premier League. This is where you go and win the title. Last 10 games, last 8 games, last 5. You go and win 5, 6, 7 games on the bounce. That's how you win the title at the end. You hang in there and then you drive your way over the finish line. You know, you don't stumble, you don't draw, you don't start dropping points. So tomorrow's going to be interesting. We're going to have to play exceptionally to get out of there, even with a draw. To win, we're going to need a bit of luck. And one thing that I always say against Manchester City, when you get a chance, you have to punish them. We will get chances tomorrow against Manchester City. Make no mistake about it. They've conceded 28 goals this season, right? They've lost 4 games this season. They've lost 4 games this season and drawn 4. They're not unbeatable. They're not invincible. They're brilliant, but they are beatable. We've lost less games than Manchester City this season, right? We can beat them. But when you get an opportunity, you have got to punish them. We saw it in the home game. Eddie Nketiah header twice, misses the chance. Next minute, it's 3-1, it's game over. You have got to punish this Man City team when you get a chance. Despite my prediction, I'm excited. I'm fired up for the game. We're going live at 7 o'clock tomorrow, right? It's such a big game. Usually I go live 45 minutes before kickoff, but we're going to go live an hour before kickoff. I may even do a 2 o'clock stream tomorrow if there's any news, just to build up to the game as well. Because listen, it's the biggest game of the season. It's the biggest game probably since the FA Cup final, really, for Arteta. The FA Cup final is obviously a huge game. I would say this is Arteta's biggest league game since he's been in charge. And one of our biggest games in years, that is for sure. So I probably will go live tomorrow as well. Road to Success said, Lady Luck will be on our side tomorrow. I hope so. Big up Sam, who's become a member. Listen, if we win tomorrow, we're doing a member stream on Thursday as well. A celebration one, a shameless one. A said, we can hear and feel the passion in your voice, Curtis. Bro, listen, tomorrow's going to be epic. Let me tell you, I'm excited for it. Alex said, if we don't play from the back, we can win. Listen, City, they keep possession well. When you get the ball, when you get a chance, you got to punish them. Somebody just said in the chat that apparently Nathan Ake was only doing light training. He didn't take part in the full session, so still unlikely to play. I'll be surprised if he's recovered from a hamstring injury in 7 days. Remember, it was last Wednesday he did it against Bayern Munich. So, listen, if Laporte's at left back, he needs to be exposed. He doesn't have the pace of Ake, and I think Saka can expose him. So that's one weakness we've got to aim for, people. Turn up with your chest out. We're top of the league, no matter what we think. Even though we've had a bad run of form, even though our belief's been hit, we need to turn up and be bigger and badder than Manchester City. I've always said the one thing that I think damages the Man City team is pace. I think pace hurts Man City because they push Kyle Walker high, they push Ake high, and they keep their centre-backs back, and pace hurts them. And I think Martinelli and Saka are the absolute key to tomorrow's game. They will get in behind their fullbacks, and when we get our chances, we've got to hurt them. You've got to punish them, and you've got to put them on the back foot. The Etihad is not exactly a booming atmosphere stadium. You know, it's not like Anfield where it becomes a 12th man. It's not like that. You can go up there and quiet that crowd down. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to the game, and let's hope we can get the 3 points tomorrow. As I said, I'll take a draw, but let's go there with the mindset of beating them. I'd rather see the team go there, to be honest, and really go for it and try and hurt them and try and win the game. Than sit back and be timid and allow them to just dominate us. You know, you can't go gun-ho, but when you get the opportunity to attack them, go and hurt them and see if you can win the game. So, listen, it's a big one tomorrow. I'll be live from 7. I'll probably go live at 2 and just do a quick stream tomorrow, just as a little build-up to the game. Let's embrace it. Let's be excited. I've been fuming the last couple of weeks. West Ham and Southampton, I felt we bottled both of them games. But listen, 5 points clear with, 7 games, 6 games to go. Okay, they got games in hand. We'd have all bit your hand off for this at the start of the season. Now they need to show us what they're about. Are they about that life? Can they win that title? Go and prove it tomorrow and go and shock this Man City team. Big up to everyone tuning in today. Thank you very much for your support as always. 2,000 of you in the chat. Big up the Twitch gang as well. Like the video, subscribe. It's a big day tomorrow, people. Make sure you keep it locked. Take care, everyone. Bless.